Good morning, good morning. We are here in Rundle Mall in Adelaide, Extinction Rebellion, South Australia. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that we are on Ghana country and we recognise the custodians and elders of the land, past, present and emerging. We're here today to call on our governments to declare a climate emergency. We have captured the iconic Mal's balls here in the middle of Adelaide, in the centre of our retail district, centre of the CBD, and we have turned the Mal's balls into a flaming globe. I'll just show you. And we are surrounding our flaming globe with messages. Messages of extreme fire. This action, just checking my microphone here. This action was actually planned before the current floods in Queensland and New South Wales, and very timely demonstration here seeking governments to declare a climate crisis. And we will perhaps meet in a little while. I think we've got a couple of politicians, inverted commas, joining us today. We also have some extinct animals. Koalas have been declared at risk of extinction. Our complete iconic animal. Australia has the shameful credit of being the country in the world where the largest number of animal extinctions has occurred. Completely been wiped off the face of the earth here in Australia. So we have the Red Rebels with us today as well. Oh, finding my way through our death and dying here. Lamentations from the Red Rebels. And we have, who is this? Somebody is saying blah 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 here. Oh, in South Australia we have a state election coming up on the 16th or 19th, and here we have our Premier, Stephen Marshall, who is promoting Santos. Santos creates jobs. Santos has its headquarters in South Australia, South Australian beginnings, and much loved by many politicians from all ilks. And a Red Rebel is just in dismay at the politicians.
More jobs. More jobs. More action on the climate. More action on the climate. Join us with Santos.
Interesting. Santos does a great deal of greenwashing. Lots and lots of media, lots of television adverts about the wonderful things they do. Nothing about the terrible things they do. And interestingly enough, I believe it's actually the CEO of Santos is currently or has just been in PNG. Interesting location for them to visit, and have announced that they are providing many millions of dollars to build a stadium in PNG, which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Sport is really, really important, but they make no announcements about how they're going to fund our future, not fund pollution. So we demand climate action now, now, now. Swift on the back of our South Australian state election. We'll have a federal election in Australia as well. So we suggest that people really get in touch with preferential voting, how it works, how best to use it strategically to get a good outcome for the climate. We have a lovely kangaroo here, our wonderful XR kangaroo. And we have Rise Up singers. Very, very busy Saturday morning in Rundle Mall. Rundle Mall has the festival, Adelaide has the festival and Fringe on. The Adelaide Festival, I would like to say, is carbon neutral, which is a fantastic effort they make to achieve that goal.
Thank you for joining that, Diane. If anybody's having trouble getting up, put your hand up and we'll help you. The science tells us that using fossil fuels is the #1 driver of climate chaos. Yet our governments fail to acknowledge the serious position we're in. You'd think they would make climate change a priority. You'd think they'd look after us. So why don't they? It's because our political system is captured by corporations. Fossil fuel companies have captured governments with donations to major parties. They influence policy to suit their agenda for more fossil fuels. They don't care which party is governing, confident that their donations ensure fossil fuels are protected and promoted. You'll see two politicians walking around here today, Stephen Marshall and Peter Malinauskas. Please feel free to heckle them and ask them to up their game on climate action. The current state government recently approved a coal gasification project at Lee Creek, despite objections from the Adnyamanthana people, custodians of those lands. There is clear evidence that coal gasification is extremely toxic, so toxic that it was banned in Queensland after multiple disasters. So let's be clear, state capture by corporations wrecks democracy and is literally killing us by stalling climate action. So what can you do? In this election, demand that politicians tell the truth and act as if our lives depend on it, because they absolutely do. Learn about preferential voting. Please take one of our flyers. Use preferential voting to send a strong climate message to the two big parties. We reject the notion of a gas-led recovery, of a slow transition to net zero emissions by 2050. 2050 is too late. Our goal must be zero emissions and quickly. It cannot include any further use of fossil fuels. Just stop it. Join us to stand peacefully on the streets against this corrupted system. If you need more information, watch one of our Heading for Extinction talks online. Demand citizens' assemblies. These will plan for a transition away from fossil fuels. Let people decide what has to happen. Don't leave it to politicians. They fail us at every turn. Join us in actions targeting fossil fuel corporations and politicians. You'll be with thinking, caring people who want a better future for the generations still to come. Look for us online at Extinction Rebellion South Australia. Watch out for our new campaign called Fund Solutions, Not Pollution, to send a clear message to politicians in the lead up to the federal election. If you've enjoyed watching the action today or want more, join us at 6 p.m. on Tuesday 15th of March outside the Adelaide Fringe. The action will feature a huge 4.5 metre high skeletal smoking koala. You can find the event on social media at Extinction Rebellion South Australia. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Thank you all for taking part today. If you have chalk, please remember to leave your message. Write a message to politicians. Write a message to the ones you love. So leave your message. Dan, you'll see Dan, he has a tricycle. Dan will give you some chalk. You can write any message you like. Please feel free to do that.
Just weaving my way through the placards.
We'll be here for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to head back to the library.
What you do matters. Thank you for joining us today and watching in as we live stream here in Rundle Mall on Kaurna country. The message today is for the politicians to declare a climate emergency. Also to point out that with our compulsory voting, we have preferential voting, and to find out if you're not sure how it works or what it's really about, find out more, do some Google, have a look at the Extinction Rebellion South Australia website with some links to some information. And use your voting to good effect for the climate. Lots of chalk going on today, and we do just use chalk in XRSA. Nothing more toxic or permanent or criminally damaging. People really getting into it down here. It's beautiful. Vote from your heart. It's coming here. 2050 is too late. It certainly is. Beautiful. And here, more. Fund solutions, not pollutions. This is a slogan that we are very much adopting. Fund solutions, not pollution. Pretty clear message. There is a great opportunity to fund for the future, to create more solutions, have just transitions for fossil fuel jobs. We're not saying pull the plug and put people out of work. We're saying build a better future for everybody. Make sure that no one is left behind. But we do not want more fires. We've had a very mild, very wet summer here in South Australia, which means there has been an awful lot of growth of vegetation, which is really setting us up in the inevitable dry conditions at some point for the potential for horrific fires. We have seen them before. Currently, Queensland, New South Wales are having horrendous floods. Absolutely unimaginable what those poor people are going through. So it is not just about fire, it's definitely about floods as well. Lots more chalking here. What have we got? We are living an emergency. Ooh, trying to save nature. Like that. Make your mark, and make your mark count on your ballot paper. Our soil, our plants, our animals, please save us. Please save our water. It's going to be becoming an increasingly rare commodity, potable water. We've got some lovely gum leaves burning here. Beautiful smell, but that tinge of smoke behind it is always a bit scary for people living in fire-prone areas. what we haven't mentioned today is state capture. Something else, if you're not familiar with the term of state capture, again, more information on XR websites. But really, in brief, it is about large companies, especially fossil fuel companies, giving huge donations to political parties, both parties, all parties, it's not particularly partisan, and they have access and lobbying to politicians, and the politicians who just wish to stay in power for power's sake, not for planning a future for us all, are really being controlled by the large corporations. So state capture is something which is really worth finding out more about, and the more you find out about it, I think it's quite shocking when you realise what's been going on. Poor sad koalas. Poor koalas. As Ian said just now in his speech, we've got a fantastic event coming up on Tuesday the 15th, which will be taking part at the heart of the Adelaide Fringe Festival in Rundle Street East, where we are being joined by a fantastic animatronic, huge koala, which is in great distress, which is coming over, joining us from Extinction Rebellion Victoria. Very excited about that, so keep an eye out for what will be happening then. Please come along, join us if you can, and see Blinky Bill on Tuesday, which will be making a very clear statement with a mournful funereal procession. And the singers are hi Sarah, is that so am I, you're going to be coming along? Just can see the great, fantastic. I'm not going to be doing that live stream on then, so somebody will be, so keep watching the website. So be around about, I think, 6 p.m. on Tuesday the 15th. It's going to be spectacular. Very excited about that. Let's have a listen to some singing. Aha, in the UK, fantastic. So, make sure you get your timing right with the time difference. Not sure when your clocks change. I know they change not at the same time as ours at the moment. So yes, watch us having all our spectacles going on. More choking. Think of the children, which is so true. We've got all these middle-aged and older politicians making all these decisions for their short-term reign in power, and how much are they thinking of the children, the future? It's not our planet, it's their planet. Thank you for somebody's putting up some links there. Will be, I think our Red Rebels have departed. They have lamented the absolute despair that is going on here. Any of you familiar with who know Adelaide? All the chalking makes us think of the Christmas. Lots of kids out chalking on the pavements, but sadly this isn't such a joyful, joyous chalking. People, species are dying. Extinct. Dead. We are living an emergency. Whatever that. Oh, act now. Act now for the future. And a bit of a shout out as well. I don't know if he's got any. Dan, who is, you can follow him as Join the Dots. If you Google Join the Dots, you'll find the work that Dan's doing. And he was making a pledge of going out chalking every day for 100 days. And another sticker here. The I think it's the Climate Council. Climate Action Now is another good one to look up. Google. There's lots of material that you can have, posters. We've got some swift chalkers here. What you do is going to be matters. "2030 is too late." And then, to even think that they're still saying 2050. And this is Dan doing his chalking over here. It's Dan of Join the Dots. Go and have a look at some of his work. It's gorgeous. So have a look at some of these. Act now before it's too late. So it's a good atmosphere down here today. So here we go. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Do you want to have a word on the live stream?
Why, sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
here we go.
So you, this is. I'll just explain what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So I'm using chalk to reclaim public space and assert community voice instead of the toxic media and advertising ecology, which is distracting, an architecture of distraction, keeping us from understanding what's really going on and allowing a heist of our future, our lives, our very humanity. And I encourage you to pick up chalk too and reclaim voice in your area. So under the label of DOTS, Democracy on the Streets, we need to connect the dots. And that's what I'm trying to do here, to connect the dots between climate, gender, race, income inequality, technology and the media, and of course our security and peace. The war in the Ukraine, so many wars have been fought for fossil fuels and oils and for a corrupt zombie ideology that will not serve and is not serving and must change. I'm going to write it's a well-being issue as well, because that's what the report says. It is a threat to our well-being, and DOTS Democracy on the Streets is a well-being issue. We're going to sink or swim together.
Thanks, Dan. It's fantastic. Like I said, you can find Dan if you Google DOTS, Democracy, Join the Dots. So gender issue, jobs issue, health issue, race, economic, security. And as he rightly said, and I haven't said at that part yet anything about, it is a distraction. All the stuff that's in the media, we have governments announcing, $30 million for all these fantastic initiatives, feeding seaweed to cows, which is brilliant, but they spent $30 million on advertising it and very little on actually getting programs up and running. So it's a distraction. South Australia announced plant-based food industries. Fantastic, absolutely great. But it also happened to ignore the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC report, which came out on Monday. And they've ignored that, haven't made any comment on that. And it is even more damning than the last one. It is dire. So I think we have people giving out Ask Me leafers for 2050, way too late. Yes, Sarah commenting that the government has been saying 2050. It's just ludicrous. So join the dots. Fossil fuel is killing us. And it's not like this is new information. This has been known for decades. The more you look into, report, it's like the tobacco industry that hid all the things that were wrong with tobacco. It's the same. Fossil fuel is the same. They've known for many decades of the damage that it would do to the planet, and it now has done to the planet. But really, there is still hope. But we need drastic, radical action now. We need action on sustainable green jobs, sustainable energy. We need a just transition for workers. And as Dan was saying, it's intersectional, it's about jobs, it's about gender, it's about race, it's about health, it's about peace, security, well-being. It's all-encompassing. So what you do matters. So we're going to be packing up in about 5 minutes. So here we go. This is what I've been looking for. I knew we had this horrendous picture. Very familiar to everybody at the moment. Pictures of the floods. Just look at that and think what it must be like. Stories of people on their roofs for 12, 24 hours, trapped in roof spaces, not able to get onto their roof, water's rising, terrifying. And then even when the water goes down, the filth, the mess, the destruction, the debris, the loss is just heartbreaking. Somebody including a little bit of core strength. So I suppose it saves getting the knees of your jeans dirty, and it increases your core strength. So a little bit of fitness activity with climate activism. We are the people. So still some chalking going on. Sun's come out. I think I've had a quick look round. Oh, sorry, sun in my eyes. I'm beautiful. Right, so this is the last sweep around what we have here. We've captured the Moors balls. Australia is on fire down here. Western Australia had horrendous fires this summer. We were very, 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 very lucky in South Australia, but that's because we had the warm, wet winter from the El Nino. So one last little listen to the singers. We got passers-by joining in with the chalking, which is great. A little bit of freedom. So, I think we will wind up here. Red rebels have wended their way by. Globe's on fire. Koalas dying. Politicians are going blah, blah, blah. But we are here. We're chalking. Join the dots. Oh, I might get a picture of... try and take a picture of this if anybody can see that. This is Dan's initiative.
Okay, rebels, we're going to wrap it up now. If everybody could move up to this side of the Moors balls, and we'll make a procession going back. Thank you all very much.
So thank you everyone who watched us live, and thank you for anybody who catches up on this later. We're going to be gathering together and just walking back to our gathering place for a closeout. So I will leave you there. Please join us Tuesday the 15th. I think it's around about 6 p.m. for a spectacular event down at Rundle Street East, where the heart of the Adelaide Fringe Festival. So bye from me. Thank you all. And till next time. Farewell.